Hi everyone, today we're discussing Italian like you guys saw in the introduction, and I'm gonna divide this video in little chapters with valuable information and also sharing a little bit of my own experience with the language. So let's dive into it. 2021, what a magical year. Italy won the Euros, and this is not the reason I started to learn Italian, but it kind of woke up some kind of interest in the language and pretty much in the culture, I would say. But the main reason I would say it was because I transferred from my old high school to a new one. This is 2021, and I was 16 at the time, something like that, I think. And when I changed high school, I had a little experience. So I was new in this high school, and there's like exchange students, and there was this girl from Italy, and I remember that I told my friends she was kind of pretty or something like that, and all normal. But the next day after I said that, my friends told my English teacher, and what he did, he just stood up, walked to the door, and called the girl. Yeah, like that. And he said, name of the girl, there's someone who wants to meet you. I was the guy who wanted to meet her, and at the time I was pretty shy, so I remember that I had to stand up and walk to the door and talk with her in my broken English. At the moment, everyone was laughing. It was kind of uncomfortable, I would say. Funny, but uncomfortable. After this experience, I started to question myself and ask myself, wouldn't it be nice to learn a bit of Italian? Just a bit. I didn't know if it was even possible, to learn Italian only using online free resources. So I kind of started to investigate on my own, and we're going to discuss that in the next section. So, answering the question, yeah, it's totally possible to learn Italian in your own using only free resources that I'm about to share in this video. And also, the process it's quite fun, I would say. It works. So, we're going to discuss the approach I had in the day against the approach I would have now with all the knowledge I have about language learning and Italian particularly. Important here. The first thing I did when I started with Italian was to go to YouTube and search A1 Italian course for beginners. And I started to study grammar, like in the same way we do in high school, for example. They teach us grammar, we take notes and stuff like that, but that doesn't work, or at least it's not that effective. So that's like the first thing I would like to say. First one, do not start with grammar, do this instead. But before explaining that, I have to explain to you guys a little concept very quickly. So let's dive into it. This is a very important concept in language learning, and I would like you all to really understand what it is first, and then I'm going to explain how to apply that practically. So the definition is basically comprehensible input is a concept in language learning that suggests we learn best when we understand the material we are exposed to, for example, by listening and by reading. And very important, these things have to be just a bit above your current level of understanding. So you're always like reaching the top of your capability in the language. Okay, this is like the technical explanation. Now I'm going to explain how do you apply that to your Italian learning journey, so let's do it. So first, start simple. You should begin with very basic words and sentences, and there are, for example, some channels in YouTube that are really good for this purpose. Two channels I would definitely recommend are Italiano Automatico and Super Easy Italian. And I'm going to explain this very quickly. What they do in these very beginner videos is pretty much to talk, but with very basic vocabulary and very slow, so you can like acquire and understand what's going on only by context. And this is very important. You acquire languages by context, okay? Like the same way you learned your native language when you are a baby, you can reapply that to any other language, and that's what a comprehensible input is about. These channels, the ones I said, Italiano Automatico and also Super Easy Italian, have beginner, intermediate, and advanced content. I would suggest to start obviously by the beginner playlist and stuff like that. I'm going to leave the link to everything down below. So another important aspect is to increase gradually. Another important aspect, very important, is to increase gradually. For example, you are going to get comfortable with the beginner videos if you watch them like every day. I would suggest 15 minutes to start, easy, simple, and increase the amount of time you spend with the language per day as you get like deeper and deeper in your language learning journey. Okay, so you are going to eventually find yourself understanding these beginner videos very good, and so you should move on. This is like going to the gym. You hit the weight, okay, till you don't get to failure the same way you used to when you were a beginner, and then you move weight up. For example, the same context applies to this. So you're going to gradually increase the content you watch and the complexity of it. And I'm going to list again in the description a couple of channels with more advanced content. I would say like intermediate or stuff like that. And yeah, but that's really important to each time, like try to get a little bit above your current level. So that's really important. You want to be in that sweet spot when you are like understanding what's going on, but at the same time not understanding all the words that are being said. And also something very important, it's you should take notes or at least write down words that you do not get, and look for them in, for example, Google Translator or DeepL or this app, Reverse Context, that it's really good. You should try it definitely. And yeah, but you want to be in that sweet spot, let's say. It's pretty much natural learning. Over time, your brain will start to pick up these words, patterns, structures of the language, and you will find yourself really quickly, like in a couple of months, thinking like little phrases and stuff like that in Italian or your target language, because you can apply this to other languages as well, of course. This is a video like focused on Italian, but I have resources for French, Portuguese, even English if you are not a native English speaker. And yeah, I'm going to make some videos about that in the future, but for now let's focus on Italian. Another important aspect is the accent or pronunciation. In Italian, there's a lot of sounds that do not exist in English, and I would suggest that you practice those since the very beginning. So let's say you're watching a video and they are saying something like, I don't know, something very basic, like for example, let me think. For example, the phrase "Io sono un ragazzo." This is very basic. This is Duolingo type of shit. And if you're a native speaker, you would say something like "Io sono un ragazzo" or something like that, you know. And it's okay. There is no problem with that. We all have an accent. I have an accent in American. I'm a native Spanish speaker. Right now I'm making a video in English and I have an accent. That's normal. But at least you should try to get as close as possible to the proper pronunciation, let's say. So you can do that by paying attention to the way people pronounce words and try to focus on the sounds that do not exist in your language and try to get as close as possible to how it would sound in native Italian, for example. With the word ragazzo, for example, the roll R, the r at the beginning, or the last O that some English speakers tend to pronounce the last O in words like an U, like ragazzo, o. You should try to get like a flat O, like a o, ragazzo, without the American accent, let's say. It's pretty difficult to get rid of your accent, but you should try to get as close as possible. Very important aspect is do not overwhelm yourself, like for example that the pronunciation. You should not feel bad if you can't get like a perfect native pronunciation, or if you do not understand a lot of stuff that's being said in a particular video, or if you know everything that might make you feel like insufficient or overwhelmed. You should take it with calm, easy, you know, a little bit each day. And if you follow this method, the natural method, you will acquire the language naturally without studying a lot of grammar, for example. And at the very end, language learning is about that, you know, like to take it calm, enjoy the experience of learning a language. And yeah, that is very important. You know, do not overwhelm yourself. Invest a bit of time each day. That is very important. Each day you have to do it, at least 10 minutes or something like that, and you will get 100% guaranteed you will get better every day if you are constantly exposing yourself to the language, constantly listening, constantly looking for words. And very important, this takes me to the next point. You have to generate some kind of input, you know. If it's been like 3 months or something like that, you might find yourself in situations where you're like thinking in Italian, for example, or you are like imagining situations in Italian in your head. That is good. And more than that, you should record yourself like talking in Italian. That is very useful. If you record yourself, you are going to be aware of a lot of mistakes you are doing, and you are not noticing it till you record yourself, and then you are like aware of all of that. So you should 100% record yourself speaking about, you know, like everything. You can like imagine a conversation and record it. You can like I don't know, like talk about your day or something you like and explain why you like it, whatever, you know. Just record yourself and then rewatch the video and try to find patterns, errors, where you're falling short, where your pronunciation could be better, you know, stuff like that, to keep always in the constant development, constant improvement of language learning. Eventually, you will be able to understand native Italians and native videos for Italians. Like I said, this is a very like a slow process, but eventually you will get to that point. If you know, like I said, stick to listen to the language every day and expose to the language every day, you will get to that level. And when you get to that level, it's like a new stage, let's say, because you will have access to a lot of new content in Italian. For example, I love the Roman Empire, so I watch a lot of videos in Italian about that specific topic. And if you're able to understand Italian, and also you can like watch and learn about stuff you like, you're you will be like more inclined to expose yourself to the language each day, and that is a very fun part. First, because you are like watching stuff you like, and second, because you are making like a lot of improvements. When you are watching stuff you feel attraction to, and it's not necessary to be like advanced to watch native Italian videos. You can do it at any point, like Google for stuff like that you like. For example, if you like travel blogs, you can find a lot of them in Italian. Or you can, I don't know, if you like I don't know, there's like a lot of topics online, but pretty much everything you can think of, there will be a video of that specific topic in Italian. So you should definitely look for those. And the more exposure you have to Italian, the better. So do not doubt on consuming that content. You should do it 100%. I'm going to leave a list down below in the description with all the resources I mentioned, and also other resources I didn't. I'm going to group them in beginner, intermediate, advanced, like level, but feel free to explore all of them, because this aggregation is not mandatory. So you can like watch something in advanced level if you feel enough interested in it. The only reason I'm dividing it is because if you are just starting, it's going to be like a lot easier to understand beginner content. But feel free to watch whatever you want, to read whatever you want, to listen to whatever you want in Italian, because if you're getting input, you are making progress. You might have noticed that I'm not putting a lot of effort into talking about grammar, and yeah, I think you should not focus that much on grammar at the very beginning. You should focus more on getting input of Italian. But when you are in intermediate or advanced level, you might want to get some grammar explanations or background, or some grammar knowledge. So I'm going to list some of my favorite grammar channels down below, all of them in Italian. This is very important. If you're going to watch a video on grammar, try to do it in Italian. So yeah, grammar is not that important at the very beginning. After, when you are like intermediate or advanced, it might be useful and come in handy. So I'm going to list some channels down below. And you should only study grammar about the topics you feel you do not understand quite well. For example, I don't know, like verbal tenses, blah, blah, blah. Say you don't get a specific conjugation, so you should watch a video on that topic specifically. Try not to study grammar for the sake of learning about grammar. Try to do it only when you are not like quite sure how to use something in Italian, like a verbal tense, or for example, I don't know, like ci or ne, that represents a lot of problems for beginners. So you should only focus on grammar when you have like a well-defined topic you do not comprehend. There are additional resources, like for example movies, books, TV shows and stuff like that, and as long as you're watching them in Italian without subtitles, that's very important, it's input. So you should definitely try those. Reading is very good because you acquire vocabulary. Reading it's actually very good. I would recommend 100% to read if you are in intermediate level. and yeah, everything that's input, it's welcome. And the final section, what you should aim for. Okay, so I think when people start to learn a language, they should aim to something, like to have something to strive for. But when it comes to language learning, it's not that clear, at least seems to me. And I think that the thing you should strive for is to feel natural when you're speaking that language. Not natural in the sense that you are not gonna make any mistakes, because that's, like I said, impossible. You are going to make some mistakes often. But what I mean by that is you should walk in a conversation knowing that you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna fail in pronunciation, there's gonna be words you do not understand, and sometimes you won't understand the other person. But regardless of that, you know and you're confident enough to, very deep of yourself, know that you are going to be understood by that person or group of people. That is what you should aim for, like that sweet spot when you are able to express yourself as you fully are. And that is very, very difficult. It takes a lot of time, but it is also why learning languages is so beautiful. Once you acquire another language, it's like you acquire another soul, another way of expressing yourself, and you like pretty much open up a wide range of people to meet, adventures to have, and stuff like that. So those are my final thoughts on Italian. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a good day, and I would appreciate if you click like and stuff like that. Thank you very much, and see you soon.